I mean, CTV is very fractured. It's very confusing, especially for TV advertisers who are looking to, have a similar experience that they did in TV. All of a sudden, you have different devices, you have different measurement, you are looking at, trying to predict inventory in a different way. So, a big piece of what we have to do at MadHive is to kind of take it in two directions. So one is to really simplify for advertisers what they're looking for, what their goals are, what their audience is, what the geo is, but really kind of boil down a lot of all of the ad tech knobs and bells and whistles into something that really narrows in on what they're looking for, so that they can represent that. On the other side is to have a very sophisticated bidder that can connect to all the supply that's out there and find that audience, which is often very narrow, but do it at scale.
How do you create an audience at scale with a narrow definition?
Well, that's one of the big challenges that being an ad tech that I've had to try to figure out for a long time is, you as an advertiser, you're like, I know who I want to target. But what always ends up happening is towards the end of the campaign, you start going, oh, we haven't found enough of them, so we got to relax some of the restrictions and loosen things up. But one of the things that we're really good at is being able to see pretty much all of the supply that's out there, really understand the landscape, look at it over time, so that instead of saying, oh, we had a very narrow audience and we only found 11 people, maybe we can find a few thousand. And being able to do that at a small scale, hyper-targeted campaigns, and to do hundreds or thousands of campaigns, and be able to coordinate all that, I think is really the trick, to be able to say that's okay, that's the audience you're looking for, that's the geography you're looking for, we can find them. And I think, especially when you get into, the easy application is local, where, somebody's looking for what they used to find on linear and local television. Now they're trying to look for that on connected television and OTT. And there's a reason for that. It's the local dealership. It's people who are not looking to buy nationally, but they really do need that particular audience.
I love that. It's great. So it's interesting because we've sort of just had this conversation about scale. What does scale mean from a technical perspective?
Yeah, there's a lot of supply out there at different qualities, at different descriptive levels. There's some really premium stuff. There's some stuff, which is a 30-second cat video. Underneath, it really depends on what the buyer is looking for, and whether the audience can be the same under both of those, and that makes sense, or whether it's really about the particular context of what they're watching and how they're watching it, and the screen they're watching it on.
Is there a lot of variety in the data that gets passed by supplier, and how do you contend with that?
Yeah, there is. There is, and it depends. Most of our supply comes in through RTB, but there are many cases where we represent direct relationships within RTB, or use VAST tags to go directly into ad servers. So we always want to make sure that there's a direct connection between. And a very transparent connection between publisher and advertiser. And so to do that at scale at different levels of relationship, to do that at just the sheer amount of data that comes in, and you have 100 milliseconds or so to respond with it, and you're doing that 2 million times a second, is something where you really have to build a platform that can leverage the cloud, can accept a tremendous amount of data, and also sort through it and take machine learning and apply that and try to find where the good stuff is, and understand the supply landscape. Understand when you're looking for that particular audience and you have frequency minimums or frequency maximums, that you can find them over time where they are.
So what are the biggest opportunities you see to improve measurement in streaming TV?
Yeah, measurement extremely important. So there's one of the pieces looking at identity and how you understand the difference between a device versus cross-device people versus households, and looking at each of those levels of identity differently, and looking at attribution and how it connects to that. So attribution, might be something that happens, also on the internet, but also might be like foot traffic. Especially when you get into the local market. That's one of the ways that you can see that somebody has actually understood the message and transacted.
So speaking of local, I think MadHive is known for that, sort of local in the local TV advertising market. So what's next in the coming year?
Yeah, I mean, we're really good at local, but that's because we're really good at hyper-targeting. We're really good at handling a lot of campaigns that are pretty small and very, very focused. So, we've been over the past year expanding past local. We really are the best local platform out there, and we continue to grow that part of the business. But we also are looking at we've solved the hard problems first. So we're looking at more of the national advertisers. We're looking at other groups that are looking for a white label DSP who have hundreds of salespeople and really need that sort of simplification of the connected television environment with the sophistication of a bidder that can really find that audience. So we're looking at that, as well as we are also adding in more channels, so audio, display, digital out of home over the coming year, always though in service to video. That's our core of who we are, but there are definitely different parts of the viewer's experience where they're exposed to different advertising. That also leads to attribution. So we want to kind of understand all those pieces as well.